Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Ashley Chouard, and I'm CEO of the Lenexa Chamber of Commerce, and it's my honor to moderate today's forum featuring the Lenexa City Council Ward 2 candidates. On behalf of the Lenexa Chamber and the Johnson County Public Policy Council, a collaboration of all the 10 area local chambers of commerce, thank you for joining us for this forum. I'd like to begin today by sharing the format for our forum this afternoon, which will include 2-minute opening statements by the candidates, a moderated question and answer period during which candidates will each have 1.5 minutes to respond, followed by 1-minute closing statements. The format, questions, and time limits will be the same for both candidates, and there will be no follow-up questions, formal rebuttal time, or audience participation. Candidate speaking order has been randomly determined with the candidates in advance and will rotate throughout the program. Now, let's take a moment and make sure cell phones are silenced, and let's begin. I'm going to start this today by introducing our Ward 2 candidates in alphabetical order, with a reminder that this is a nonpartisan race. Candidate Mark Charlton is a licensed architect with a certificate in regional community planning. A graduate of K-State, he owns a design-build company in Lenexa. In addition to his business and family, Mark has volunteered with community and professional organizations and his church. You can learn more about Mark's background and civic involvement at his website, www.charltonforlenexa.com. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you.
Candidate Jermaine Jamison is an entrepreneur and owns 2 Lenexa small businesses. He attended Emporia State University, where he played college football and earned a degree in sociology. In addition to his business and family, Jermaine has volunteered with community and professional organizations. You can learn more about Jermaine's background and civic involvement at his website, www.jermaineforlenexa.com. And welcome to you, Jermaine.
Thank you so much, Ashley, for hosting.
Now we're going to start with our opening statements by the candidates. As a reminder, each will have 2 minutes to present their opening statement. By random draw, Jermaine, we're going to start with you.
Great. My name is Jermaine Jamison, and I am a candidate for City Council in Lenexa, Ward 2, and I want to thank the Lenexa Chamber of Commerce for hosting this event. But before I talk about my why, the first thing I want to do is send my thoughts and prayers to the 22 families that were displaced last night. That there was a fire in the reserve apartments, and so there's 22 families in Lenexa Ward 2 that are being serviced right now by the Red Cross. So again, I want to send my thoughts and prayers to those folks, as well as the firefighter that was sent to the emergency room. So again, Jermaine Jamison, Lenexa City Council candidate, Ward 2. I'm honored to be here, and I am running for Lenexa City Council because I love my city and I love my community. I have lived in Lenexa for exactly 21 years, 1 month, and 20 days. I've had the pleasure of raising my family here. I've had the opportunity of being a coach in the community for 20 plus years. And so when I think about my journey thus far as a candidate, it has really opened my eyes and reinforced that Lenexa is a tremendous community that is inclusive and offers individuals and families an opportunity to thrive. And it is my goal to contribute to those things moving forward.
Thank you, Jermaine. And now, Mark, your 2-minute opening statement.
Good afternoon, and thank you all for coming. I thank the Lenexa Chamber for putting this on, and I do send my condolences to the displaced people in the reserve apartments. Hi, I'm Mark Charlton. I'm proud to be running for City Council in the interest of our citizens. My mother would also be proud. Having served the neighboring city of Shawnee's Chamber of Commerce as the administrative assistant, she held many hats, with being only 3 people on staff at the time in the early 90s. I was fortunate to have graduated from architecture at Kent State University and came home to help. My mom never drove. We had to get her to work somehow. So it was a pleasure to be able to take her to work and to take her to coffees and to see her interact with the citizens of Shawnee. They even named a scholarship in her name after she passed away. She was the mother of Shawnee. My wife Jennifer and I have raised 3 sons here in Lenexa for the past 21 years. My youngest son, now a senior in high school. We are members of Holy Trinity Catholic Church here near downtown Lenexa. I began participating in community activities 44 years ago at the age of 12 years old. I volunteered handing out waters to the runners at the first Lenexa Freedom Run. I remember this distinctly because it was right across the street on College Boulevard from here. I currently serve as our Falcon Valley Homes Association Board Vice President. I received a Bachelor of Architecture from Kent State University in 1992, in addition with a Certificate of Regional Community Planning. The K-State Extension Program allowed me to study in the Kansas City area my 5th year and on the UMKC campus. I'm a licensed architect in Kansas, managing member of my own consulting firm. Prior to establishing my firm, I held multidisciplinary design projects locally and nationally as project lead. I took projects from marketing inception through city government approvals to construction and closeout. I have the necessary experience to collaborate with our city staff and council to help foster quality developments and listening to the needs of our city to support economic growth.
Thank you, Mark. We're now going to move on to the moderated question and answer portion of our program. As a reminder, candidates will have 1.5 minutes each to respond, and the speaking order will rotate with each question. So Mark, you're going to begin with question number 1. And that question is, can you please tell us more about what your top 3 policy goals would be as a Lenexa City Council member?
Well, I think we all can agree that public safety, in the event of last night's events, police and fire, obviously, prudent financial and fiscal management of our city's budgets, and investing in the Lenexa's neighborhoods, past and present, are of great importance. I will focus additional importance on planning for the city's growth and maintaining the region's best parks and associated amenities. This includes promoting Lenexa's awesome activities and community activities for our citizens and visitors.
Thank you, Mark. And now, Jermaine, can you please tell us more what your top 3 policy goals would be as a council member?
Absolutely. So my top 3 policy goals start with community engagement. I'm a firm believer that building strong relationships with community members involves truly understanding the concerns and ideas from our constituents. And I firmly believe that harnessing the community's collective wisdom and expertise is the key to growth. And then also, public safety. If there's one thing I love and appreciate about Lenexa is walking my dog in Buffalo Meadows Park, whether it's 9:30 a.m., 9:30 p.m., or 2 in the morning, I feel safe because I know we have the police and fire services to keep us all safe. So I would also say, lastly, fostering economic growth. Building and investing in the infrastructure is key. That allows us to continue to bring in organizations that choose to commit to our economy, that choose to bring their families in, and that ultimately gives exposure to the community in a way that also builds continuity and growth.
Thank you. And Jermaine, you're going to be first up with question number 2. And that question is, what are your views on the services and value the city's citizens receive for their local tax dollars?
I believe the citizens receive first-class services for their tax dollars, for our tax dollars. When I think about our amazing parks, our recreational facilities, and all of the other outdoor services that unites our community, those are things that are worth every dollar spent. And then I would also say that it's important to be mindful of the growth of Lenexa and how the value of our tax dollars truly contributes to that. So great value for our tax dollars, and I would encourage everyone to read the back of their tax bill because that also adds a lot of clarity and understanding around the value that we give for our tax dollars.
And Mark, to you, what are your views on the services and value the city citizen receive for their tax dollars?
Well, what I found in talking to neighbors going door to door in this campaign, the fact that the majority of the folks stated they appreciate what their tax dollars are going to and really didn't have any concerns. They understand they're paying a little higher taxes for the different services that are provided and amenities that are provided. But one of the things that just blew me away when this summer when those major storms came through is all the trees were down in the city of Lenexa, and I was over at 77th and Rose Hill working on a project. And a gentleman was out cutting down a tree that had fell in the street. He was just using a handsaw. Well, I took my electric saws out there, or battery operated saws out there, and started helping. Battery ran out. Next thing you know, I remember walking up the street to leave, and here comes the city crews to take out that tree and move it out of the street. It was just surprising how fast the city reacted to that and jumped in with 2 feet. And then also the city took care of the cost of removing a lot of those limbs in our neighborhoods, and it was just a fabulous opportunity to see and witness that.
Thank you, Mark. You're going to be first up for question number 3. What changes, if any, would you like to see to the city budget?
Well, it's my understanding that the city has done just a wonderful job in budgeting over the years and balancing the needs of the city. At this point, I would rely on what we've done in the past to maintain the expectations that we currently understand. We do need to be cautious about future tightening of the economy. You just never know what's going to go down the road. But I'm pleasantly surprised at how well the budget's been managed over the years.
And Jermaine, to you, what changes, if any, would you like to see to the city's budget?
Well, currently, I believe the city budget reflects all the reasons why Lenexa is a great city. In 2023, the top 3 expenditure functions were public safety, which is extremely important to all of us. Secondly was the economic development, and third was community infrastructure. So when I look at the budget, I believe those 3 pillars are critical to the success, happiness, and growth of our city.
Thank you, Jermaine. You're going to be first up with question number 4. What role, if any, do you believe the city should play in economic development to bring jobs and capital investment to the community?
Great question. So I believe the city's role in economic development to bring jobs and capital investment should be centered on collaboration and partnerships. And so as a small business owner that employs individuals across multiple industries and partners with organizations that come into our community, the partnering and collaboration is key. And so when I think about the growth that we see over the past 5 years during the pandemic, those opportunities and those new amazing things were not done by one person. So I truly believe that it must be an effort of collaboration both with the public sector and private sector to ensure that we are doing the things necessary to bring jobs and ongoing economic growth to our city.
Thank you. And now to Mark. What role, if any, do you believe the city should play in economic development, bringing jobs and investment to the community?
Well, I'll support any economic activity and opportunity in the interest of our citizens, obviously. Capital investments based on balancing the needs of the city along with future growth should be a win-win for the city, obviously. I'll support the ways to achieve the results by thinking creatively and working with the city staff and city manager to bring these opportunities to us as well, and working with the local businesses or neighboring businesses. So I'm supportive of bringing the businesses, and just the cost benefits need to be, at first and foremost.
Thank you, Mark. You're going to be up first for question number 5. As the city considers future development and redevelopment projects, describe your views on how the city should best manage and balance growth.
With the appropriate community planning measures and following the comprehensive plan, I support development and redevelopment opportunities. Reinvesting or capital investments based on balancing the needs of our legacy parts of our community along with the future development should be of benefit to us all. If there's one thing I did learn in regard to my understudy in regional community planning, that cities must reinvest over time in older parts of the community to maintain that quality of life everyone expects. One example of this in recent weeks is the city's decision to move forward with the senior citizen and community center improvements over in the downtown old Lenexa area. So I'll support any sort of continued development like that and future development down the road.
Thank you, and now to you, Jermaine. As the city considers future development and redevelopment, describe your views on how the city should best manage and balance that growth.
Balancing growth requires, it requires careful consideration of various factors. The city should take a holistic approach and consider social, economic impacts. And I believe there's also some environmental aspects that need to be taken into consideration. So the city must focus on smart growth, which emphasizes single-family homes, mixed-use development, and efficient land use. And if there's one thing we all know is we're not making any more land. And so we have to be very intentional, very deliberate, and very focused. But we also must encourage focusing and revitalizing the underutilized areas to ensure that the city is vibrant in all places. Then lastly, I think it's extremely important that the city actively involve residents and businesses to gather diverse perspectives and address concerns to ensure that the growth aligns with the values, I want to stress the word, values of the community.
Thank you. Jermaine, you're going to be first up with question number 6. What is your philosophy on the role the city should play in terms of metro area issues?
I believe the city should be involved in actively listening. Not just listen, but to actively listen to understand what our role should be in specific metro area issues. Since all cities in the metro function as an economic engine, it is essential to be present and have a presence when needed. So partnerships among cities in a metropolitan area can result in practical solutions and outcomes. Practical solutions and outcomes that benefit all cities, but those things must be balanced with the community's specific needs.
Thank you. And to you, Mark, what is your philosophy on the role the city should play in terms of metro area issues?
Well, as an architect, having been trained in looking at our surroundings, over the years I've experienced just that, knowing what our surroundings are. I've traveled many of these roads in Kansas City, being a resident in Johnson County for 56 years. I've had my head up. Do we want our metropolitan city to flourish? Yes, we do. How Lenexa is impacted by issues in such as surrounding cities is things like crime. We need to support each other, and we do need to do that as a metropolitan area, city. We do have a macro to micro community, Kansas City community down to our local jurisdictions, and I feel we can continue to serve the metro as a whole. But in keeping in mind what is important for Lenexa, we do have this quaint and wonderful Lenexa community that I wish to keep it that way for generations to come.
Thank you, Mark. We're going to start with you on question number 7. What do you believe are the greatest challenges the city faces over the next 10 years, and how would you address them?
I'm sorry, what was the question again?
What do you believe are the greatest challenges the city faces over the next 10 years, and how would you address them?
Well, the greatest challenges is balancing our infrastructure needs and future developments out west is one of the challenge. The old adage, "They build it, they will come." Another thing that comes to mind is some of the folks when I was knocking on doors out west were concerned with some of the backup in traffic in the mornings and evenings as they're leaving for work or coming home from work out west. We do have a great highway system in Kansas City and great highway access in Lenexa, but that's going to start becoming impacted by the battery plant down the road, and even the future development out west. And so it's going to continue to add traffic. And so we're going to have to work with different local jurisdictions, Olathe and as one, and the state to to determine what better needs we have for our highways and roadways.
Thank you, Mark. And now to you, Jermaine. What do you believe are the greatest challenges facing the city over the next 10 years, and how would you address them?
So I'm not a big believer in challenges. I believe there are opportunities. Challenges, just like obstacles, are things we see when we take our eyes off of our goals. But I think it's important over the next 10 years to maximize all of our efforts in a way that ensures we are growing as a community and a city, that again, that maximizes resources and ensures that Lenexa is affordable for current residents, for those that want to move into our community, for future generations, but also those that are wanting to start and establish a career and start families in Lenexa. One of the things that I've learned as I've knocked on doors, and I've knocked on many, I'm up to 121,000 steps, is when I think about my daughter who's 27, she would love to live in Lenexa. She was born and raised here, or she was raised here, I should say, but it's not affordable. So when I think about a new educator that graduates from my alma mater in Emporia State, when the starting salary is $43,467 for a new educator in the Olathe School District, or $47,000 for a new educator in Shawnee Mission, or $53,000 for a new officer or EMT, I think we have to do our part to ensure that we are creating space for those people that are the future, here in our city.
Thank you, Jermaine, and we're going to stay with you for our final question of the moderated Q&A portion of our forum today. What do you believe makes you uniquely qualified to serve in this position and most distinguishes you from your opponent in this race?
What makes me uniquely qualified? As I've said before, and I will shout it from the mountaintops, I love Lenexa. I have an authentic passion, desire, and commitment to civic engagement and civic service. Over the past, let's say, 10 years, I've been a graduate of Leadership Lenexa. I have served as co-chair of Leadership Lenexa. I've been a member of the Chairman's Ambassadors, where I welcome new businesses into our community. I serve on the CVB advisory board so that I can engage with current businesses to ensure that I am doing my part, just as a resident, to help build and expose their businesses. And then most recently, I served as chairman of the board for the Introductory Chamber of Commerce. So I've attended those ribbon cuttings, and I've seen those families and the excitement on their faces, and they bring their families and their children with them because they're so proud to be in Lenexa. And I always tell people, they didn't have to come here, they chose to. And that's important. And then lastly, I'm a man of the community. You can find me at Buffalo Meadows Park, you can find me at Blackwood Park, you can find me at Price Chopper. I'm someone that truly loves our city, I love our community, and should I earn the right to serve as city council, that will be obvious.
And to you, Mark, what do you believe makes you uniquely qualified to serve in this position and most distinguishes you from your opponent in this race?
Well, my background is in architectural, as I've mentioned, and the regional community planning aspect of that offers a unique perspective and insight to practical approaches to fostering future developments in undeveloped areas, as well as infill projects in our legacy areas of the city. Experience in architectural design, use of quality materials, construction knowledge, and development oversight will no longer have a voice on our city council with the retirement of our current city council member. My election as new city council member will continue this valued resource in Lenexa. Thank you.
Thank you both. We're going to move on to the closing statements. As a reminder, candidates will have 1 minute each to present closing statements, and those will be given in the reverse order of opening, which means that Mark, you will go first on our closing statements. Go to you.
Thank you for hosting and allowing this forum to listen to and learn more about our views. We can all agree public safety, prudent fiscal management, investing in the Lenexa neighborhoods, past and present, are of great importance. I will focus additional importance on planning and maintaining the region's best parks and associated amenities. This includes promoting Lenexa's exceptional community activities for our citizens and visitors. Experience in architecture design, use of quality materials, construction knowledge, and development oversight will no longer have a voice in our city council with the retirement of our current council member. My election as new council member will continue this valued resource. Please get out and vote. Continue to elect those who are dedicated to serve with the utmost dedication. I began my dedication 44 years ago as a volunteer. Raising my hand to run for city council was not taken lightly. In that capacity, I plan on taking a common sense approach as your council member. We have such a tremendous city to work, play, and raise a family. My experience will help guide the city and ensure quality of life continues to thrive in Lenexa. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. And now to you, Jermaine.
Well, so I did a little research that I believe we have to understand facts. And in my hand here, I have an org chart. And at the top of the org chart, it says citizens of Lenexa. That's what this is about. That's why I am here. It has nothing to do with what I want to do personally. I'm here to serve people, and that's how I'm wired. And one of the things that I am ready to do, prepared to do, and ready to accept is to take the pledge of the governing body guideline principles. And I'm going to read it. The mayor and city council members commit to responsible governance and pledge that local decisions will be made in a transparent, thoughtful, and inclusive manner. And I want to stress inclusive manner. They strive to do the right things for the right reasons, guided by these principles. Number one, make every decision with integrity. Number two, deliver results through teamwork. Number three, provide exceptional service. Number four, lead into the future with vision. Thank you again to the Lenexa Chamber of Commerce for hosting and for having this opportunity. And I remind everyone, regardless of who you vote for, exercise that privilege, get out and vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Now that concludes our Lenexa City Council Ward 2 Forum. Let's thank our candidates for participating in today's program. On behalf of the Lenexa Chamber of Commerce and our colleague local chambers, thank you for taking advantage of this important opportunity to learn about the candidates. For more information about candidates, videos of candidate forums, and advanced voting details, visit www.votejoco.com, and please share this voter resource with your colleagues, family, and friends. And that concludes our forum.